This setup is a system of Neopixels controlled by a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus and running on a program called Strand Test Example, which is part of the Raspberry Neopixel library. Let's start the strand test example. So we enter a command on the Raspberry Pi, and there the strand test example is running. The author of the original software is Tony DeCola. These Neopixels are so fascinating in that the color of each of the three LEDs inside each package can be controlled by a digital means. Apart from the most beautiful colors each of them can generate, the digital possibilities are enormous. There are different modes on which the Neopixels are programmed to. All different color schemes can be visualized. Tony's program has a complete symmetric appearance. Inspired by the beautiful colors and digital capabilities, a game board of 82 Neopixels was constructed. In basic, it's a PCB on which 82 Neopixels are mounted. So the idea came up, why not using an app to control all this? So you have a smartphone, a Raspberry Pi, wireless LAN between smartphone and Raspberry Pi, and a Neopixel GameBoard. One can control the Neopixels of the GameBoard by app using wireless LAN, and one can control the display of the Raspberry Pi by app. The Raspberry Pi uses a 3.5-inch touchscreen monitor, a power supply, a USB mouse, and a USB keyboard. The Neopixel GameBoard has an interconnect cable and a 5 volts 5 amp power supply input. The Neopixel GameBoard uses a PCB of which there are 8 Neopixel ring and a 24 Neopixel ring, 4 strings of 10 Neopixels and 2 strings of 5 Neopixels. Between the strings there are isolators so that a canvas can be put over the PCB. Below the PCB there is a level shifter to shift the 3.3 volts from the Raspberry Pi to the 5 volts of the Neopixels. The Android smartphone has a game app. Let's start the game app. The game app has 2 applications, game and mode. The game is where 3 or 4 drivers are competing on one of 30 highways around the world. It also can control the display of the Raspberry Pi, and the mode is a light show showing all these magnificent effects. To control the Raspberry Pi from the smartphone, we first have to start the server on the Raspberry Pi, the wireless LAN server, and then the A3 game icon shows up on the Raspberry Pi. Now we can select different countries. For instance, we can select USA. Then USA shows up on the Raspberry Pi, or we can select Switzerland, and Switzerland is appearing, or we can select Sweden. Sweden is appearing on the Raspberry Pi. UK is the default option. So we will have a game demo and a mode demo now. Let's start the game demo. So we select game, well, first of all clear, then game. Make sure the IP address is correct. Choose a country. Let's choose China. Press Init. Press Start. You come up with a game application showing G4 in China with 3 players. You press Start Game. Driver 1 in red has to press the dice button, and he has 1. 1 is shown as red on the canvas on the game board. 2 has got 6, it's green. Blue's got 3, so you have red, blue, green. And the next, so it's got 3, the red, green's got 2, and blue's got 2. So you can carry on like this. If 2 colors match on the same position, the LED changes to white. If you hear that sound, it's a trap. So he jumped from 14 to 4, the blue driver. 10 kilometers were subtracted. And if you hear that sound, it's a breakdown. Driver 1 had a breakdown, so he won't progress. He's got 0. Again a breakdown. Again a breakdown. So at the end of each round, there's a finish button showing up. You can press it and the kilometers are evaluated. Driver 2 is 1, driver 1 is 2nd, and driver 3 is 3rd. So that was basically the game app. Let's go to the mode app. First press clear. Then you press the mode button, choose a country, for instance France, Init, and Start. So the rainbow mode is running. Okay, you also can do jump, that's another one. You can press stop.